So UniFi, the 5.8.24 stable has been released, the latest version of their software for managing the UniFi line of equipment. And we'll start with a couple things, and I put them in red here because they're very important when you're doing the upgrade. Please read through this. Don't go, hey, look, some red stuff, probably not important. Why would someone highlight things in red? Linux systems running MongoDB version of 3.6. We recommend 3.4. This is most likely an issue on Ubuntu LTS 1804. Now, this is important. I'm running a slightly older version of Debian, and Debian has an older version of MongoDB in it because I'm not running Debian 9 for my UniFi controller, and that is important because apparently it does not work with the 3.6x. I don't know when they plan to fix this, hopefully in the future, because I like running the latest of everything whenever possible, unless there's a reason not to, which is why this has its own VM with this MongoDB. Matter of fact, the VM that runs my UniFi runs both my UniFi video and runs my UniFi controller that we use to manage all of our client sites. We host that in-house. Now, those are important features, so make sure you've read that and make sure that if you're running 1804, you might have problems. Or if you're setting up a new controller and you just want to run the latest version, same thing. Make sure you have the right version. Maybe at some point I'll do a video on how to downgrade to a different version of Mongo. My solution was just loading an older version of Debian, but there are ways you can load a new version and then roll it back, and maybe a future release if there's a lot of interest in that. As of release branch 5.6, we made some important changes to our wireless update features here. Now, they have a whole guide on this. Read through it if you want to have a better understanding of all that. It's all up to date. But the part that you want to make sure, we remove enabled automatic failover link for while it says it's no longer needed. So if you have a wired device, don't have that box checked. What they're telling you is you may end up having to physically reset the box if you do the upgrade and you've checked that box that doesn't need to be checked, and you do the upgrade, you may have to reset that device and readopt it. So just a warning on that. It's pretty straightforward just to uncheck the box, and I'll show you where it is real quick. So we're going to go here to devices, config, wireless uplinks. Don't check that. So pretty, move my head down a little bit further, make sure you can see this. But yeah, pretty straightforward. Don't check those, don't check these little boxes right here, and you're good to go. That's what they're talking about before you do the upgrade. They have all the explainer as to the why in there. The only other thing I noticed is we found that in some mitigations, 5 points resulted in fast roaming being enabled, which is not a recommended. So same thing, they have a couple of things there. Airtime will not work if radio is disabled. That seems like it should be obvious, and what they're telling you is they have an airtime system that watches on some of the more advanced systems, and they offer to see what's going on. Well, if you turn off the radio and disable the radio on a device, it won't be able to do the airtime. So I guess that kind of makes sense, but there's probably someone going, hey, this isn't working, and someone probably replied in the phone, did you turn off your radio on it? So other than that, known issues. It's expected that AirView will stop occasionally, start, and should restore functionality. If you start both 2.4 and 5 gigahertz in quick succession, then it will fail. Yeah, that's been kind of a known issue for a little while. That's not new, but if you go there and you start clicking the scanning and you click in rapid succession, both of them, it just fails. Don't do that. Click it, let it scan, then click the next one, let it scan. That makes sense to me. So those are some of the features and the do's and don'ts when you're doing the upgrade. Here are just the general like new features they added, like adding net consoles, speed and duplex configs for the USG interface, add control for DNS mask, app switcher, adding a property panel for popular devices, local single sign-on, adding USG physical ports, logical ports. It seems like there's a lot of USG features that they're adding here, which is great. That is a really cool thing about the way they work, is they're constantly engineering and updating systems. So even though they're not charging you any licensing fees, they still care about their product a lot. So they keep giving new features to it. So you didn't just buy it and it's static and then you never get a new feature. This keeps pushing more and more features, new firmware to even their older devices. And that's probably the reason I have this client pulled up. This client's been installed with these devices, small salon, and they need one Wi-Fi unit to cover their whole building. One APLR does their entire place. That has been installed for years. A lot of people know this, it's green. It's the 2.4 only model, so it's not anything very high end. But here it is, still running perfectly fine with, years later and still getting firmware updates. So they don't, they don't abandon their products. They have a pretty long life cycle, which is great. So you don't have to spend too much time swapping out stuff because it's old and there's no more firmware updates for it. So they're on it, and this works really well. I have not upgraded to the latest version of this. The reason why is, well, they're busy working right now, and we just got to do it over the weekend in case you kind of do planning on those. I've not had problems with any of the upgrades, but still, always plan, make sure it's during off hours. Don't disrupt your clients. That's just a bad thing to do. This is also something neat. They added USB reporting, how to enable Net Console. I haven't really played with this. Maybe I will. But this is allowing more data collection, so you can export some data in here and push it out. I have not used Net Console, but kind of neat that they're, like I said, they're really pushing even more features into these, which is great. So back to the basic steps, connection using SSH. Yes, this is all basically how you can SSH into the USG and then enable these features, which is pretty cool. And this is that long range one I was talking about. Like I said, this is just a 2.4. I was looking up, I was trying to find a release date and trying to remember exactly. I feel like digging through invoices. I think it's 2015 when we put that in for that client. So it's been there a little while. But that's it. The upgrade went perfectly smooth for us. It did say it would take about 15 minutes maybe to do the database, depending on how many clients and data you had in there, because it's a multi-site controller. I hit this and it shows all my client sites on there. We have about 30 client sites, maybe right around there on there, something like that. And it didn't take long at all. Went really fast, and didn't have any problems. Still recommend backing up before you do it. So do run a backup. We do back up the VM prior. I take a snapshot of it just in case it all goes wrong. But all my upgrades for UniFi, like I said, we have a well-maintained controller. I keep everything up to date. The packages is up to date as they're allowed to be. So they, like my MongoDB version matches what they recommend from UniFi. And the upgrades have gone really smooth. So now we're running on the 5824 and haven't had a problem with it. And you can do this as well if you don't have a place to run it like we do in our servers. You can use we like Linode or DigitalOcean or AWS, wherever it is you want to hold the controller at, and be able to do that. And as long as you're maintaining the controller properly, I highly recommend you running it on Linux. You shouldn't have any problems. All right, thanks, and that's it. Like I said, another smooth upgrade from UniFi, and I'm still thrilled with the software. This has just been a great tool. So thanks for watching. If you like this video, go ahead and click the thumbs up. Leave us some feedback below to let us know any details, what you like and didn't like as well, because we love hearing the feedback. Or if you just want to say thanks, leave a comment. If you want to be notified of new videos as they come out, go ahead and hit the subscribe and the bell icon. That lets YouTube know that you're interested in notifications. Hopefully they send them, as we've learned with YouTube. Anyways, if you want to contract us for consulting services, you go ahead and hit launchsystems.com, and you can reach out to us for all the projects that we can do and help you. We work with a lot of small businesses, IT companies, even some large companies, and you can farm different work out to us or just hire us as a consultant to help design your network. Also, if you want to help the channel in other ways, we have a Patreon. We have affiliate links. You'll find them in the description. You'll also find recommendations to other affiliate links and things you can sign up for on launchsystems.com. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.